right, welcome to Chef Russell Johnson's cooking class. And Russell Johnson, Chef Johnson, and we have sous chef Soul working with him today in the kitchen. But first, I want to thank our sponsor for this event, New Mexico Bank and Trust. We have a long partnership with New Mexico Bank and Trust, and they support our work with employees who give generously and also with corporate donations. We appreciate their confidence in our work and their investment in the children in our community. So we're here live from Growing Up New Mexico kickoff weekend. And I hope you've enjoyed the leadership activities yesterday. And today we've been doing lots of fun activities with more to come tonight. We have a pajama party with bedtime stories with Ms. Sarah, Ms. Alicia, and Ms. Valerie at 7:30 after our cooking class today. So come to that and remember to wear your pajamas. Kids Kitchen, which is where you see Chef Russell and Sous Chef Soul, is located at the Early Learning Center at Connie, and it's a joint project with the Food Depot and Growing Up New Mexico. We provide locally made and fresh meals to schools and to the children at the Early Learning Center at Connie. Tonight, Chef Russell and Chef Soul will be preparing a family meal, and you can cook right along with them. In fact, my two grandsons, Luke and Jaden, will be cooking our dinner for tonight along with the chefs. Can't wait to taste it. So I'm going to turn this over to Chef Russell and Sous Chef Soul. Take it away.
Thank you, Barb. So I'm so happy to be sharing this recipe with you all. I brought my son here with me today. He's the young aspiring chef. I have three more at home that aren't here with me today. But I wanted to start off by letting you know if you're cooking along with us, take your chicken out of your refrigerator if it's in your fridge right now, so it can start to come to room temp, and then preheat your oven to 325. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna get my chickens, which I have here. And I'm gonna show you two different techniques on trussing a chicken. So the first one is the simpler one that I usually use when I'm at home. I hope you can all see me well. So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna take the wings and I'm gonna fold them to the back of the chicken. So they're stuck right in the back of the chicken. And then I have a little paring knife here. And there, let me see the best way. So I'm at the back of the chicken, and there's this little flap here at the opening of the back of the chicken. I just cut a little hole into that flap, and that you're going to use, don't cut it too big because you don't want to tear the skin. That you're going to use to stick your leg into. So the leg side of the chicken that you put the cut into, you're going to want to fold that down over the flap of skin. So if you can see me, I'm folding it down and then hold it with your thumb. And then you're going to bring the other one across and you're going to put it in the hole. I'm trying to do basically the idea of trussing a chicken is having the chicken so it's all the same size throughout, so it cooks the same time. If it was just kind of laid out flat, certain parts might cook faster than others. So this allows for your bird to cook at the same time. So your white meat is nice and juicy and it's done at the same time as your dark meat. So that's one version. And then you want to take, I forgot one thing. So I'm going to open it back up. And you always want to season the inside of your bird. And it looks like Soul wants to take that over. So what you're going to do is this much salt. And you want to season nice and generously inside of your chicken with salt and pepper. All right, that looks good. A little more. Get it all over the inside of there. All right. Now grab some pepper, do the same thing. Okay, and then you're going to want to take about 5 sprigs of thyme and throw that inside of there. And now I'm going to close it back up. Do you want to try? Almost got it. So you don't want to pull too hard until you feel the skin. And then you'll have to do the same thing but on the other side. So now that you have that done, you want to generously season the outside of the chicken with salt. I'll let you do it next one. Make sure you flip it over. And season it with pepper. And then I have just the leaves of some of my thyme. And I'm just going to sprinkle the top of it with a little bit of thyme. All right, so I got another chicken here. And this, if you have butcher twine, this is the fancy chefy way to truss a chicken. So you're gonna fold the legs back like I did with the last one. Grab a piece of twine about this big. I'm gonna do this one. And then you're gonna wanna put the string under the tail of your chicken. And then pull it so each side is even. And then you're going to fold it over like that. And then you want to cross, still keeping where you crossed it over the top, and then take your X and fold it around so the string goes under the legs of the chicken. So it should look like a figure 8, like wrapped around the legs of your chicken. And then you're going to pull it tight and wrap the twine around the chicken. Flip the chicken over. And then you're going to cross the twine under the neck of the chicken. And then I just tie like a square knot on the top. And it looks like I got a question. And then I'm gonna cut that. And you wanna see that? And I realized I forgot to season the inside of this chicken, but I'm not opening this one back up. So you want to get quite a bit on there. And I think Abby has some trivia questions that she's going to throw out there every once in a while while I'm doing stirring and stuff. So Abby, if you want to take it away with the question.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to say that anyone is welcome to post a question for Chef Russell in the chat box. We're happy to, I'm here at Connie with Chef Russell and I can shuttle in and questions you might have. I know the Wi-Fi is a little bit shaky inside of the kids' kitchen where Russell and Sol are because they're in a cinder block box with all that equipment. So thanks for your patience on that. Feel free to post a question in the chat box and I'll make sure Chef Russell gets it. And I am going to invite you now, if you are a cooking whiz, that you can participate in our cooking trivia that will happen throughout the cooking class. Another fantasy that Russell and I have is having a cooking show. So Barb, you're learning a lot of my secret professions with my podcasting and now cooking show. So if we get famous and you see us on the cooking channel one day, you know where it all started. All right, so you're gonna have to put your answers in the chat box to our cooking trivia because you are muted. So if you know the answer, go ahead and put it in the chat box. The first trivia question is, if the pan catches fire when you're frying bacon, what should you never throw on it? Very good, Mandy Edwards. Mary Beth knew. Hi, Mary Beth. You're a groupie at this point. She's been to every cooking class we've done. Water, exactly. Never throw water on a grease fire. You guys are smart. Okay. I'll do one more. Is that okay, Chef Russell?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. The next one, this is a little tricky. It might be good for bakers. What type of sugar includes a small amount of cornstarch to prevent lumping while mixing? What type of sugar has cornstarch that helps to prevent lumping? Anyone? Yes, Mandy. You're kind of a superstar here with these questions. Confectioner sugar or powdered sugar. It has cornstarch in it, and that's the way it gives it the texture to prevent it from lumping. Excellent, you guys are good. I'm gonna have to bring out my hard trivia questions the next time Russell has a break. Okay, Russell, back to you.
All right, we're ready. So we have our 2 chickens ready here in the pan, and we're going to take that back to our 425-degree oven. So 425, and if your oven isn't quite up to temp yet, you can wait for it to get up to 425, and we're going to move on to the risotto now. So first thing with the risotto is I have a pot here with, it's actually about like 15 cups or so of water and 2 tablespoons of salt. So you want to get your water like up to a simmer, because when you cook risotto, you want the water you're adding to it to be hot. It is on time, and it also helps so the risotto doesn't cool down every time you add liquid to it. Because the idea with risotto is you're going to add liquid about 4 ounces at a time over time while you're stirring continuously. So what you're trying to do is create starch. So you want to use, I'm using arborio rice. There's quite a few different kinds of rice you can use. You can use, what's the other one I put? Carnaroli. But you want to use like a short grain rice that's very starchy. Because where traditional risotto gets its starch from is from, or gets its creaminess from, is the starch in the rice. And a lot of people add cream to their risotto. You can do that, but I like to get the creaminess from the starch in the rice and then from butter and lots of Parmesan. So right now, I'm going to start with some olive oil. And I'm going to use about 5 tablespoons of olive oil in my pot here. So I have the pot with the water, and then I have a pot that the risotto is going to go into. So
All right, we're going on tour.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is grab those onions. We want to sweat our onions. So I have the temperature of this pot is at like a medium low. So you want to try to keep the onions from getting any color on them. So the recipe that I sent called for, I think it was half an onion, and I just put a whole small diced onion into here because I'm going to double our recipe. So those are going to cook nice and slowly. And I like to add just a pinch of salt to that. And that draws some of the moisture out of the onions and helps with the sweating process. So I'm going to leave you to do some stirring. So if they get a little color, it's okay. But you want to try to cook them down until they're nice and translucent. And try to get as little color as possible. So while that's going on, I'm gonna come check. I have a chicken going that I started earlier. I'm just gonna take that out now. So
Oh, that's gorgeous.
my finished chicken there. Nice even color. And what you're going for with that is you want I just checked these a while ago and they were close. So you want, when you stick a thermometer in it, you want it to be at 160 degrees. And then the liquid that comes out of it, you want it to be clear. So I'm gonna let that rest for now. So these onions might take a bit. So I think it might be time for some more trivia.
Okay, what's that on medium heat, high heat?
So medium low.
Medium low heat, okay. All right, I'm a camera woman / trivia host with Barb here. So everyone ready for another trivia question? All right, go to the chat box with your answer. What is a light and fluffy pie filling made with stabilized gelatin and beaten egg whites called? What is a light and fluffy pie filling made with stabilized gelatin and beaten egg whites called? Anybody? Got any fancy bakers? Jessica says meringue, and that's not the exact answer, but I was gonna say meringue too. Barb said meringue too. The answer I had was chiffon, that's called chiffon. I'm willing to be wrong about that if meringue sounds better, but interesting. Good job. Okay, so let's do another one. When a chef puts out every ingredient needed to prepare a dish ahead of time, what is that called? Very good, Mandy. Very good, Barb. Mise en place. Mise en place. That sounds like maybe we have more chefs than bakers in the group. And Len said MIDI powder. I have a feeling that was subject to autocorrect. That was probably one of your grandsons, right, Barb? Close. I'll trust that you were trying to say mise en place, especially if Len was right behind you. All right, let's do we have time for one more, Russell?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Or we're ready to go too, either way.
Okay, we'll do one more. All right, what is the term for cooking meats like pork or duck in order to melt some of the fat out of them? What is the term for cooking meats like pork or duck in order to melt some fat out of them? Anybody? Len Rand, I was hoping you'd come through for us. Rendering, that's right, rendering. Rendering the fat. Okay, back to you, Russell.
All right, so you want to try your onions and you want them to be nice and soft. So the best way to do that is to just take some out and then take a little taste.
Just reach right in the pot, huh? Don't burn yourself, Soul. So what are you looking for when you taste those onions?
So right now mine still have a little crunch to them.
Okay, soft.
And if you're starting to get any color on your onions, turn down your heat a little bit. Or you can also add just a little bit of water to it. And that'll keep them cooking, but it will also keep them from getting color on them. So you want to keep that going until your onions are nice and soft.
You're not really caramelizing.
So you don't want them to have much like toothiness to them. So when you bite down, you want it to be really, really mushy. So we're almost there.
Awesome.
And
Here's Russell's mise en place.
so now, so you want to add the rice to that? So I doubled my recipe. So I'm adding 4 cups of arborio rice. So to this one right here. So right now what you want to do is add your rice. And then you want to,
Well done, Soul.
good job. And some people will toast their risotto a little bit, which is kind of what we're doing, but I don't toast mine much. I just like to get it with like a nice coat of oil. So just give it a little stir.
Tell us a little bit about arborio rice. What makes it different?
So the arborio rice is just it's a short grain rice. So when you look at it, it's kind of short and stubby, and it has like a high starch content. So when we start adding this liquid to the rice, that starch is going to come out into the broth, and it's going to make it nice and creamy. So certain things like if you're making sushi rice is also another short grain rice, and some people actually even use sushi rice for risotto. It's another short grain rice that has a high starch content, but for that purpose, you rinse it because you don't want the starch, so you rinse all the starch off of it. But with this, we like starch. Starch is a good thing. So now we toss it around in there. Now, so I got, that's okay. So I have some white wine here. No. So you want to add white wine, very traditional, and it gives it some nice flavor. It's a dry white wine. I used a Sauvignon Blanc. It's got some citrus to it, which I thought would go well with the chive lemon oil that we're going to use. So I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit to about a medium flame. And then you just keep stirring and stirring and stirring. So we're going to add, now that we added the white wine, you stir and stir and stir until all of the wine is absorbed into the rice. So I'll let Soul go on that. There you go. And so this is just going to be about 3 or 4 minutes. So if you want to take it away again.
Okay.
All right.
Right. Is everybody able to keep up? Cooking at the same time you're watching. I see Carol over her stove. Good job, Carol. Are you keeping up with us? Do you need some time to stir? You good? All right, well, you keep stirring so the rice absorbs that wine. Oh, Len says that the rendering was from the kids. Thanks for that correction. And Mandy, of course, knew that it was rendering. Okay, let's go. Let's do another trivia question. Which ingredients are made for ants on a log? Does anyone know what ants on a log is? Soul does. Jessica, I bet you know what ants on a log is, don't you? No? Mandy for the win, of course. Celery, peanut butter, and raisins. You fill the little groove with peanut butter and then you put the raisins on top. Not a childhood snack for everybody, I guess. Good, okay. The next one. What do you call the rotating rod a rotisserie item is cooked on? The rotating rod that a rotisserie item is cooked on. Kind of tricky one. Barb has the answer right away. It is a spit. The spit. Good job, Barb. All right, it looks like they're still cooking and hovering over their pot in the kitchen.
We're ready.
Awesome. Okay, back to you.
All right, so you have your hot liquid ready. If it's nice and hot, you can actually turn it off. It doesn't have to stay at a simmer. You just want it nice and warm when you add it to your pot. So I'm adding about 6 ounces at a time of liquid. So you're going to do the same thing. You can use, I just use water with salt because I like it to be nice and like clean flavor. But you can use chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock, but you want to add it incrementally. So you're going to do the same thing you did with your wine with your liquid. So add about 6 ounces at a time, and every time you add, you stir until it gets absorbed into the rice, and then you add some more. And you're going to keep doing that until you want to keep tasting your rice, and you want it to be al dente, like your pasta would be. So you want it to have some toothiness to it, so it doesn't just give right away when you take a bite, but you don't want it to be too soft. One thing you definitely don't want with the risotto is for it to be overdone. So you want it to be nice and al dente. So we're going to keep adding liquid here to our risotto. So
I'll do it from here.
salt, if you want to add 2 spoons to that.
Should we ladlefuls?
And now we're going to keep stirring until it absorbs. And it'll probably take about 3 or 4 times before we get it to where we want it to be. Usually you can count on stirring your risotto for about 20 to 25 minutes before it's ready. The stirring is really important because that's what releases all that starch into the risotto. So yeah, we'll be here stirring
For a little while, just spoon after spoon.
So if anyone's cooking along too and they have helpers, you can start zesting your lemon juicing your lemon, chopping your chives, and you want your butter to be diced up like that. Grating Parmesan, that can all start to get done now. Okay. All right. So we'll be here stirring away for a little bit.
All right, you guys want some more trivia while you're stirring?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Everybody's stirring, your mom especially. It looks like she's doing a good job keeping up. All right, let's see. What type of nuts are used in traditional pesto sauce for pasta? What type of nuts are used in pesto? Oh, looks like that was kind of an easy question. Everyone got that. Jessica, Mary Beth, Mandy, Barb, exactly right. Pine nuts. Excellent. All right, here's the next one. What is dulce? D-U-L-S-E, dulce, often used in Japanese cooking, or it might be called dulce, I'm not sure. That wasn't so easy, huh? It's traditionally used in Japanese cooking. Mandy, you're not right, actually. That I'm surprised, but it is not miso. Anybody else have it? Oh, Elisa, good job. Seaweed. Yay, that's what it is. It's seaweed. Excellent. All right. This one I think is on the easy side. Oh,
Real quick, Abby, I'm going to show
okay.
everyone. So in your risotto, looks about that consistency. I hope you can all see that. That's when you want to add another, try to get it, another round of liquid to it. All right.
Let's go ahead and watch the liquid adding.
So this is our second round of liquid.
Is it on the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Perfect. So it's nice and absorbed now. We're going to add 2 more scoops. Oh, and another important thing with risotto that I forgot, you always want to use a wooden spoon because you do want to release the starch with the spoon. And you could, if you don't have wood, you could use like a rubber spatula or something too. But you don't want to use metal because that can like damage the rice. So it'll break the rice. So a wooden spoon is the best for risotto.
Is there any reason for that hole in the wooden spoon, Russell?
No, that's the only one I could find.
It's not an important part of risotto to have that hole, to have it drop through the hole. Okay, good. So back to stirring.
Back to stirring.
All right, Sol, show us some of your dance moves.
So I guess while we're doing the stirring, we can start making the chive lemon oil. So I already have my lemon zested, so I'm gonna add it to a small bowl. And really all you have to do with this is add all your ingredients and mix it together. So you're gonna want the zest of 2 lemons, and I think it was, I just kind of eyeballed mine, but the recipe calls for fine zest of 2 lemons, and I use the microplane to zest my lemons. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend getting one. They'll give you that nice fine grating. And then you want half a cup of chives, and again I doubled my recipe, and 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and then salt and pepper to taste. So you just stir that up, and add a little more oil. And then we'll set that aside, and that's what we're going to garnish our risotto with. So we're going to keep adding liquid to our risotto, and I'll hand it off to Abby.
Okay.
Yeah. So now.
All right, looks good. It's starting to smell really good in here. So I hope it's smelling good at your house if you're doing these recipes. All right, you ready for another trivia? Yes, thumbs up. What are the 2 ingredients used to make a roux? Flour and butter. Yes, that's right. Barb, Mandy, Mary Beth, we will accept oil and flour. And Catherine, you knew it too. I didn't know you were such a cook. Excellent. Now this is going to be an easy one because I'm going to check and see if you were paying attention. What is the term used typically for pasta that means firm to the bite? Soul knows. Let's give everybody a chance. Up. Looks like, what was it, Soul?
Al dente.
Exactly. Al dente. Everybody knew that one. You guys are good. Okay, let's see. What is the term for putting dry ingredients through a strainer to prevent lumps? This is another baking question. Len, I assume that's an autocorrect. Sifting, very good. You guys are getting good at this, sifting. I like it. In baking recipes, what is usually the first step? In recipes for baked goods, what is usually the first step? Exactly. Preheat the oven, turn the oven on, heat the oven. You got it. You guys are good. How we doing over there, Russell? Did you guys add any more water yet?
Yeah, we added another round of water. It's still cooking away though. I tried it and there's it's still a little too underdone. But we're getting close.
Not al dente yet, right, Sol?
No.
All right, let's see. Now this could create some discrepancies, but for the perfect hard-boiled egg, how long would you keep the eggs in the pot for? Let's see if anyone has any secrets about hard-boiled eggs. Mandy says 8, Mary Beth says 9, Jessica's 5 to 7. Barb says 25, which seems a little bit out of the curve. The answer is 7 to 10 minutes in the pot. There, Sharon was right with 10. 7 to 10 in the pot, but I've never been good at hard-boiled eggs. I like to be able to do them so the shell slips right off, but it doesn't always turn out that way. What is the term for embellishing a plate with something decorative to enhance the presentation? Mary Beth, you were fast on that one. Mandy, Sharon, garnish, absolutely. You guys are right, garnish. Russell, you just told me I'm stealing the show over here.
I know. So I was going to say, with risotto, a little ahead of it being al dente, like in the restaurant, you can take it off and like spread it on a sheet pan. So if you wanted to like get ahead on your risotto the night before, you could take it out when it's almost al dente, spread it out on a sheet pan, and then you can finish it like the next day. So right where we're at now, I think it would be the point where you could take it out and spread it out. But we're gonna eat it tonight, so we're gonna keep going. I'd say we're about 5 minutes out. So if you have any more trivia, we'll take it.
Right.
I left it up to you. I forgot risotto takes so much just stirring time.
Right.
It's worth the wait though. It's worth the wait.
No problem. If you've been on any other events this weekend, you know that I don't mind coming on the screen to take some time. Okay, let's see. What is the term for adding salt and spices to a food? What is the term for adding salt and spices to a food? Yep, pretty straightforward. You guys are all right. Seasoning. That was a little too easy for this crowd. All right. What does it mean to julienne something?
More grainy.
Yes, you're right. Cutting into thin strips, cutting into equal lengths. Mary Beth, Mandy, Barbara. Mary Beth, your mom is helping you? That's so awesome. I'm glad you're cooking together. That's fun. Awesome. Okay, let's see. What ingredient is added to make bread rise? Duh. Awesome. Yeast. What does it mean to mince something? Chop very fine. That chop is fine. All right.
Almost there.
All right, Russell, you just keep us posted about what's going on in there, in that pot. What is a way to cook onions that makes them taste sweeter? It's in the name. Exactly. Caramelize your onions, makes them sweeter. Now here's a math question. How many ounces are in 1 cup? 8. You were thinking of 2 cups, Jessica. 8 ounces in a cup. The grandkids over there, Len, say that there's 2 ounces in a cup. All right, what are you doing when you baste something? What does it mean to baste something? You got it, you guys are good. It's the official definition is bathe food in its juices while cooking. All right, the next question is, what is gluten? Do we have any guesses on that one? Sorry. Very good. It's actually proteins in a grain. It's, let's see, a mixture of proteins commonly found in wheat products, it says. Sharon, you're not a gluten-free person? Bring on the gluten, right? You guys are funny, exactly. All right, let's see. Russell, Sol, how are you guys doing over there?
I haven't cooked risotto in a long time. I forgot. It takes longer than I remember. We're doing good though. We're almost
Does it look
there.
good?
It looks really good. Here, I'll bring the camera over.
Your fingers covered.
So you can see how that starch is coming out and it looks nice and creamy. And that's no dairy, no nothing added. That's just the starch from the rice. How's everyone doing at home?
Looks like we got some thumbs up. Your mom's busy hovering over her stove. That's what I can see. Jessica gives us a thumbs up.
Can you see everyone, Abby?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to be able to see them?
No, that's fine.
It helps because you're on the main screen, and that's why it's. Mandy says she's still adding water, so everybody's doing good. She's still putting in her water. They're stirring. Mary Beth says she's doing great. Yep, we're
How many people do we have with us today?
13.
All right. So if you feel the risotto starting to stick to the bottom, just check your heat to make sure it's not too high, and you can scrape it from the bottom. We're gonna take another taste. I think we might be on our last addition of water. Yeah, so I'm gonna add one more round of water. I think we should be about there.
Well, here's an interesting one. Oh. We have a minute, Russell?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. Which is the most expensive spice in the world by weight?
That's not one.
Nice. Yep, you're right. Saffron.
And saffron is actually, in certain places in Italy, it's a common ingredient in risotto too. We're still stirring.
Yeah, well, that's what everyone's doing. It sounds like the over at the Rand house, they're still stirring. I think your mom's still stirring. I think Mandy said she's still putting, so we still have stirring going on. You know, Barb, I've never cooked with saffron. It's a good in Middle Eastern cooking. Mandy's still stirring. Okay, good. Okay, let's see. Am I still on there? Okay, so I have another trivia. If I'm in Turkey eating layers of phyllo filled with chopped nuts and honey, what am I eating? Yes, Mandy, that I want some now. I love baklava. Baklava made with phyllo dough, chopped nuts, and honey. Japanese horseradish is better known as what? Exactly, Barb. Wasabi. Makes your nose tingle if you eat too much of it when you're having sushi. But still so good. All right, morel is a variety of what? Yes. Not wine, Jessica. Mushrooms. Merlot, maybe that's what you were thinking of for wine.
So we're ready for the next step, Abby.
Yay. All right, let's see it.
So next,
How's it looking there?
so you want your risotto to be almost a little soupy. So if you were to put it on a plate, it would run, but it wouldn't have any like wateriness on the edges that would run out to the sides. And some people like theirs a little more firm than others. I like mine a little soupy. So I'm gonna hit it with a little more liquid. remove it from the heat.
I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah. And I'm going to stir in that last bit of liquid.
That's good.
And then you want to add lots of Parmesan. So this is about 10 tablespoons of butter.
No wonder it's so good.
And about 3 cups of, actually about 2 cups, and then I'm going to reserve some behind for the garnish on top. You want to stir that in and season it with salt. I'm going to grab some spoons to taste it with. Stir in the rest of that butter. So it's nice and al dente, not too soft. You want to taste it. So what you're tasting for now is just to make sure it has enough salt. Good.
It's good, so?
I'm going to do a little more salt. So that gives it even more creaminess.
And then I turn on the water off.
Yeah, turn that off. A little freshly ground black pepper. Stir that all in. Risotto is nice because it's easy to reconstitute. So if you have leftovers, you can let it cool down. I would spread it on a pan, let it cool down in the refrigerator, and then when you heat it back up, you just add a little bit of something like chicken stock or water to it, and it'll come right back to this consistency. So that's right where we want it. So I'm going to set that back here, and I'm going to grab the chicken, and I'll show you how to cut that.
Nice.
So this is the one that I started a little ahead of time, just so it'd be ready at the same time as the risotto, and I didn't keep you all waiting too long. So I'm just cutting off the butcher's twine. And you see how trussing it gave it a nice even shape. And cooking it at 425, I like to cook it at a higher heat. I find that it comes out more juicy that way. So the way I'm going to cut it, I just cut the skin in between the legs. And I let this rest for about 20 minutes. And then just pull the legs back. And then cut as close as you can to the bone across the back. There's one leg. Do the same thing on the other side. And then I cut out the wishbone ahead of time from this. When you cut through your chicken, a lot of time when you're taking, well, if you don't take the wishbone out, you would run into it right there. But since the wishbone is out, you can take the breast off nice and easily.
You can just pull that wishbone out? I've never done that before. That makes it really
Yeah. So the wishbone, you'll take your knife and run it along the inside of the wishbone, which would be right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to want to run it between the meat and the wishbone. And just make a little space on both sides. And then it's going to connect right here to the wing. And you want to cut that joint out. And then it should just pull right out. So I'm going to cut the other breast off. I just pull the wings off. So since it's been resting, if it hasn't rested long enough, a lot of the juice will run out onto the cutting board, but it all absorbs back up into the meat, so it's nice and juicy. So I'm going to just cut the breast into slices. And for the dark meat, just pulling the bone out of the thigh. And I like the dark meat. That's my preference. And I'm just going to cut that up into like bite-sized pieces.
Easy way to cut a chicken. I like that. I like seeing that.
So now I'll set this aside. You can do the same with this stuff for your other portions. But just so I can show you how to plate up, I'm going to move on to the next step. So now, you want to hold that right over this bowl.
Sure.
So I'm going to use a metal spoon, but just for serving. So you want nice dollop right there in the center. And I'm going to take some of the dark meat, put that right in the middle, and then sole. If you want to grab one of those spoons, you can do the garnish. So you want to take that spoon there. So if you can, I like to use nice big dishes. It kind of it's like a canvas for the food. So get a spoon, and you want to get a spoonful of that. Get some of that oil in there, and just kind of drizzle it around. Yeah, that's perfect. So drizzle it around. Tip it a little more. And then do one more. And you can get it up on the sides. Yeah. Now, you can get just a dollop of Parmesan right on top. And a sprinkle of pepper. And that's dinner.
Yay! That's Give our video a round of applause.
Good job.
Looks amazing. My mouth is watering after we did.
So let me know if anyone has any questions. I can answer questions, and I'm not sure where everyone is at in their cooking process, but I can stick around for a while and answer questions. You want to try to make another bowl? So you can do it.
All right, so Chef, I wanted to read you the comments. Such fun to watch. I need to go, but have learned about risotto.
All right.
That was from Win. Thank you, Russell and Soul.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. That's fun.
Your cousin Sharon wants you to send her a plate.
That's Abby and I's next thing. We're gonna figure out how to stuff out.
Yes, good idea. Jessica says it looks amazing. Her mouth is watering. Thank you, Russell. Amazing job, chefs, from Sharon. Thank you so much. It was fun, from Mandy.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. We had fun. I haven't made risotto in a long time, so I'm looking forward to eating it.
Say hi, Carol.
Oh, there's
Okay, I'm unmuted. I haven't figured out how to do chat yet.
Oh,
to
okay.
do what?
To do
The
chat.
chat box.
So I'm ready. I think my chicken's ready. It'll need to rest. My risotto's ready. So good job, guys.
Thank you.
So we
Let me know
have
what you
dinner.
think.
Huh?
Thanks, Carol.
Let me know what you think.
Okay. I haven't made risotto in forever either.
Did Dad help?
He didn't help. He was convincing. He was answering the trivia.
He was answering the trivia, but you didn't have the chat box, right, Carol?
Right. Yeah.
So I haven't checked on the Rands. I see them cooking in there. I think they're doing well. Our chicken is behind. But God, Russell, I loved your tip about removing the wishbone. I hadn't heard that. I'm gonna pass that along to Chef Rand and see if he knew about that.
Yeah, and you can actually you can serve a whole half chicken. You just cut through the breast and down through the leg, and then the whole half comes off really easily that way.
Yeah,
It's a simple thing that
no,
makes a big difference.
that's great. No, I see them busily cooking in there, and we had Lee making guacamole, and we put in cheeses out so they'd have some munch while they were cooking. So
Oh, nice.
we will respond to you and tell you how it comes out, because we're all going to eat dinner together tonight.
Oh, good. All right.
But I just want to, I want to thank you and Soul for this incredible class. This was great. And I want to remind people, that our programs work to meet all the needs of the child in order to be ready to learn. And nutritious food is just one thing that helps the brain and the body work well. So in closing, I want to remind all of you that there are still raffle tickets. I think later on tonight we get to choose another, there'll be another raffle to pick from. And you can go onto our events page and still buy raffle tickets and donate to support Growing Up New Mexico. Our events tomorrow, tomorrow's our last day, and we have a talent show in the morning. And I think, I was watching, it looks like we have an incredible number of talent acts that are going to be at the talent show tomorrow. The last number I saw was like 30. So please, everybody watch the talent show tomorrow. We have a Zumba for kids, and then we have our closing event, and all that's going to happen in the morning. I think it starts around 10 a.m. And finally, I do want to take this opportunity once again to thank our sponsor for this event, New Mexico Bank and Trust. And Russell Soul, thank you so much. I could really get into cooking. My husband does most of the cooking, but after tonight, I'm going to do some more. Thank you so much.
Sorry, he said it's our pleasure. Thanks for having us. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Enjoy food. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Bye.